Hi all, I'm Pragyan Mishra. I'm currently an Agile coach at ANZ. I'm more than happy to talk to you about how our life experiences, how do we really leverage our life experiences to survive and thrive in our career. I can see few questions coming in. So I'll just read out the question and try and address some of the question answers. So Priyanka asks, Hi Pragya, I noticed you included your motherhood milestone in your profile plus here. Please let me know why that is important to mention. Great question, Priyanka. I always have believed that life and work are integral part, or I would rather say they complement each other. So you gain experiences through your life as well as work. So I really don't believe in balancing both. I rather believe in integrating both of them and prioritizing. So when I became a mother, it was a learning experience, and a lot of things I really learned being a mother. Like say, for example, how to be persistent, how to really develop patience, and also about caring and sharing. I learned a lot more than what I knew before, I guess. And when I developed those skill sets, I believe that it was reflective in my professional career as well. So it is very important for us to acknowledge what skill sets we are developing in our life and how does it really help us become a better person, be it personally or professionally. And that's how I mentioned that as a milestone in my profile plus. I hope that helped. The next question that I see is from Suchi. Suchi is asking me, Hi Pragya, out of all Agile certifications available, as per your experience, which one offers the best learning adoption approach? And please suggest the same for Master NLP certification with commercial cost involved while you undertook the course. Again, another great question, two different questions I would say. On Agile certifications, my take would be if you are planning to become a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, or you're part of any Agile transformations, it is always good to gain knowledge in different frameworks, be it Scrum, be it Kanban, be it SAFe. What my suggestion would be, look at your current organization, if you are currently working, and see what the organization is going through, what does the organization really need, and based on that you can pick up any of the certifications that you're really interested. What I can help you here is ANZ was undergoing a huge transformation a couple of years back, and though I had certain experience, quite a lot of experience in Scrum and Kanban, but I did venture out into gaining more knowledge into Scale Agile as well as other frameworks because it was a need of the hour, and based on that I added it onto my profile. So I do not say that one certification is good or this certification is good or that certification is good. I would suggest look at what your current work profile demands from you and how are you going to leverage that learning experience in your workplace. Right? That would be a good start. Coming on to your second part of the question on the NLP, right? So again, on the cost side of it, I do not think I can provide you much details, but there are a lot of good trainers and facilitators in NLP that you would find, be it in India or outside. Do connect with the trainers and understand what kind of their training profile talks about, what do they really impart in that particular training, and based on that you can take a decision. I took the training from Vikram Dhar, nlpcoach.in, and it's been almost 2 years. I did my practitioner with him and I did my master practitioner with him, saying that there are many industry experts. A bit of researching in the Google would really help, and you can pick that up, right? Great. So I would move on to the next question. This is from Divya Rajaganeshan. Thank you, Divya, for letting me know that this is a very interesting topic, and I'm looking forward to your question. And you are asking me about personal development, personal growth, mindfulness, etc. We read a lot in the internet, which is filled with hundreds of tips and tricks. But the biggest challenge I face is to practice them. What are some of the simple steps to practice them? Wow, it has a lot of, I would say, lot of things in this question, but let me try and address it in a very simple way. What I typically do is, for us to develop any of our soft skills or being mindful or any of the first and foremost thing that I do is identify what are my goals, what are my priorities at this point of time, right, in the present, and maybe a little bit forward looking. Once I am able to identify that, I then next go into a little bit more deeper level on what are the things that are really my strengths. Do I really need to work on those strengths and make it better? And what are my development areas to achieve those goals and objectives, or the priorities in life? And then I cite both of those aspects, and I then come up with some kind of the training or coaching or mentoring that I seek out for, and then I put up a plan as in what do I need to do next, and accordingly I move. So when it comes to personal development, professional development, or mindfulness, it is all aligned to what is the need of the hour for you, what are the things that you really need to develop or strengthen within yourself to achieve your own goals. So that is how I proceed. Once I proceed in that, say I identify what are the things that I really need to learn, or I get coached or mentored, then I try and identify which are either some of the good trainings available or what is happening in the current market. I do attend a lot of meetups, conferences, I read a lot in the internet, and then I pick up what is required for me at that point of the time. So that's what I typically follow. So I keep it very simple, very much aligned to my current goals and objectives. Okay, let me move on to the next question. I am currently trying to look at, okay, so I get to see Akshata. Next question from Akshata. So how to keep ourselves motivated? How to keep ourselves motivated to achieve our personal goals? Great question. It all depends on our mind, is what I say. How do we really train ourselves to keep us motivated? Now let me deep dive a little bit into how motivation looks like. Motivation differs from person to person, and that's where it is important for us to identify what really motivates us. For that, you might have to do some analysis and self-analysis or self-awareness, as in what keeps you ticking, what are your hobbies, what are your interests when you're working towards a particular goal, what is it that keeps you really moving. Now once you identify that, it will be easier for you to work towards your personal goals. Again, let me share my own example. Somebody recently had the same question for me some time back, and I always feel challenged when or motivated when I get some challenging work or new work to do. So I'll be at my peak performance at that point of time. But after a certain period, when things start getting a little monotonous, or I'll feel that it's, I'm getting quite comfortable, or I'm getting into a comfort zone, my performance starts to slow down. And that is where the first thing is to be self-aware that you are getting into a comfort zone, or you are not getting that motivated to work towards it. So I have found a trick for myself. So what I do is I try and learn new things that I can implement in my current role. Or the other thing that I do is there anything else that I can do apart, if I'm not able to contribute much towards the current role, is there anything else that I can add on to my own interests? Then I find that out and I challenge myself. This is what I do on a very regular basis. Is I keep myself motivated by doing new things, be it a learning, be it a training, be it associating with people, be it connecting and learning what's happening in the industry. So that's how I have found my, motivation. Cool. So the next question that I can see is from Vandana. And Vandana mentions that, hi Pragyan, I think the simplest way to personal growth and development is to ask many questions to oneself on a daily basis, like what do I really love in life, and what should I do to have more of this? This has the ability to change one's focus in an instant, transforming our mindset from limiting to self-empowering, or which indirectly leads to personal development and growth. It is from my own experience. As soon as I ask a question, my mind will immediately begin searching for an answer, sometimes taking me to where I really want to be. What are your thoughts and your own experience on this? A wonderful way you have put it, Vandana, I must say. You have actually rightly pointed out how to be really mindful or be in the moment is asking yourself the right questions, right? Understanding what your self beliefs are, what are your limiting beliefs, what are your empowering beliefs, understanding what are your values, which are empowering you, understanding what are your decision making abilities, or what are the decision making that you have done within yourself. It is also about understanding what memories you have gathered, what experiences you have been through, because these are the internal filters that really drive you to a state, which is, it can either be a resourceful state or an unresourceful state. So the moment you ask yourself the right questions and understand all of those filters within you, it is easier for you to really transform yourself to a resourceful state, and then it is easier for you to achieve your goals. So what I typically do, and you have asked me for my own experience on this, so what I do the same thing. I go back and validate my belief system. I look at which are the beliefs that are limiting for me. Do I really translate that to empowering beliefs? Are there any values that's really stopping me to do what best I am supposed to do? I evaluate all that and then, change myself into a resourceful state. Let me give an example which might not be directly, to this question, but say sometimes we do get anger as an unresourceful state. If for a certain reason I am angry or about certain thing, or with respect to a certain incident, what I have identified is, first of all, I acknowledge what is it that is creating that unresourceful state, or creating the anger within me. And the moment I'm aware that my state is changing towards an unresourceful state, I try and pick up something that really can help me quickly transition to a resourceful state. So, in this scenario, what I do is I pick up one of my favorite hobbies. If something is near to me, I'll go pick up a paper and a pencil, and I sit down and start sketching, because that's something which really I really love doing. And what it internally does is, and within a couple of minutes, the state changes from an unresourceful to a resourceful state. So then I'm in a more balanced mind to really think through that particular situation and be able to control my anger, if I must say. So that's a personal example that I can provide. Okay. While I move on to the next question, Vandana asks, I addressed that particular question. Kajal asks, today personal branding has become such a necessity to advance in one's career. Can you tell me what are the most influential platforms to create a profile? Kajal, that's very true. And if you go through my LinkedIn profile, I have written an article called as Pi. And I believe that in your professional environment, you focus on three things. One is performance, image, and exposure. And when I talk about image, it is all about the personal branding. And it is very important for us to really understand how do we create the personal branding. For that to start, or for you to really identify what your personal branding looks like, you need to be clear on what exactly you are looking out for yourself, right? Again, I can only share an example from my own thing. So I am truly passionate about coaching. So I believe in myself as a coach. And that's something, say, for example, I want to create a brand of my own. So when I know that what is it that I really want to create a brand of my own, then I need to understand that what right now technology provides us a lot of platforms. Apart from your workplace, you have your social networks and technology, right? So you need to have a look at and fair understanding on how do you really want to create a brand within your workspace. And that again comes from how do you build your network, how do you really connect with people, and what is the language that you speak, what do you communicate to the people when you're creating your own brand. So all those aspects come into play. When it comes to technology, social networking, so I say, for example, I prefer LinkedIn. It's for professional. It's a professional network site, and that is where I believe that if I'm a coach, what is the message that I really want to impart using that particular social website. So I focus a lot more into coaching. I'm into Agile coaching, so I put a lot of stuff on coaching aspects, on Agile aspects. So that also helps build my own brand. So people connect with you based on what you are wanting to put across in the social website. Similarly, you pick and choose whether Facebook or Twitter or any of those social networks, and that's how I believe in the power of branding. Last but not the least, you have your own personal connections. So leverage that. I would say that we are in a world where the connections and technology are helping us by leaps and bounds. So understand what is the branding that you really want to create, and focus on which are the platforms and what is it that you want to communicate. From which of your networks do you really learn a lot and improve on your brand? So have those things in mind. Last but not the least, I also do attend conferences, meetups. I go to get-togethers because of the same industry as mine, because that is where I feel that I learn a lot and improve on my skills, and I also create my own brand, right? Thank you. I hope that helps. I have another question from Suvarna, and Suvarna asks, I'm not such a tech-savvy person. I'm at a disadvantage then with regard to personal brand. No, you are not. But what's the harm in learning, right? if I really compare my parents, let me take up a personal example. They were never tech savvy, but if I look at them now, they were keen on learning how to really connect to some of the social networks, and right now they're able to leverage to some extent. Like my mother is a classical singer, and she had a musical institute of her own, but she hardly knew what technology is all about, and social media for them is like, a big surprise or a question. But when I spend some time, letting her know how this platform helps in connecting with her students, because she is teaching kids who are millennials or even younger, right, how to really keep up a pace with them. She has really picked it up and learned it. So I do not see that it is a big problem in learning and getting tech savvy. It is quite easy, if I may say. But saying that apart, there are multiple platforms, as I mentioned in my previous reply, right? So how do you really connect in your social networks? How do you really create your own brand by, because earlier we used to do word of mouth. How do you connect with people? What are the messages that you really pass on? Word of mouth is one of the strongest, brand tool, I would say. So if you are able to connect with people either via your social network in your own community, apartment community, or say via when you're going to any meetups or gatherings, or in your current workplace as well, right? You can start off with that and then slowly start learning what are the best platforms. I hope that helps. Gayatri asks, what is the difference between personal growth and personal development? How do you continue personal growth? Great question. Quite an insightful question. I had never thought about it. If you really ask me, any growth or development, whether personal, professional, actually starts within yourself. So you can term it as anything as you want, but the moment you start looking within yourself and then look at what are your strengths. Again, I think I replied in one of my previous questions, be it personal or professional, I do not keep life and work separate. I try and integrate both life and work. So I look at my skill sets in these aspects. One is I look at my strengths, right? What are my empowering beliefs? What are my values that really keeps me going? What are my traits or the strengths that I really carry back to my life and back to work, which really helps me to succeed? I focus a lot on that and I keep working on it because that's what keeps me ticking. You may call it growth or development, but that's what keeps me ticking and keeps me aligned towards achieving the goals. Now, the second aspect which I also focus on is on the development areas, and those development areas are very situation specific as well as your goal specific, right? So let me pick up an example. When I was a delivery manager, obviously my development areas will be very, very focused to the area that I am delivering, right? And then when I transition as a coach or an Agile coach, my goals and objectives change, and accordingly I will have a different set of development areas. So in that scenario, I focus on my goals and objectives, and I focus on what are the things that I really need to contribute to make myself better at it, right? Again, so two areas that I focus on are the strengths and the development areas. So both of them actually contribute towards your growth or your development. Stick to your strengths, keep working towards it, always keep validating that your strengths are really helping you move ahead, and focus on your development areas based on your current situation and what goals or what role you are in, or be it personal, be it professional. And again, inspect and adapt. That's the one key thing that I keep doing to keep myself on the success path. Not that I don't face failures, but I learn from it, and that's where I inspect and adapt. I hope that helped answer your question. The next question is Asha, from Asha. She asks, what are certain aspects of your daily life that needs to be changed for your personal growth or development? Wow. This is something which is very, very individual specific. It's very difficult for me to generalize and say what are certain aspects of your daily life. What I can do is, I'll tell you my mantra. I believe that continuous learning, or I believe that revisiting or inspecting and adapting helps you in your life, and that's what I keep doing, if not on a daily basis, but at a very, very regular basis. And how that helps is, one is for me to reflect on what is it really helping me to be successful or be happy at the end of the day, and what are the things that's stopping me from doing certain things or achieving certain goals. And when I do that, it's just not being self-aware. I also look at the ecology. It is very, very important for us to see what's our ecology around us. Is it really helping us, or are there certain hurdles or challenges? Then we need to come up with some other plan. Maybe that the plan that I'm working towards or the goals that I've set might not be, achievable at that point of time. So this is what I say, that everything that you do in your life is actually a goal, or an expectation, or a dream, or you can name it in any way. So once you're working towards your goal, it is very, very important for you to be aware of your plan towards achieving that goal, be it growth or development. It is also very, very important, is the ecology supporting you? I can, maybe let me share this story again from my motherhood, right? So once, when I became a mother, it was very important that I give attention to my daughter, as well as I am working in I had a career and I had to go back to work. So how do I really balance it out? How do I really integrate? I don't balance it out. How do I really integrate it well enough where I'm able to give the love and care that my daughter needs at that point of time, but I'm also able to, give it back to my work to an extent what I can. So if I have to go towards that, I need to ensure that I have support in my family. Are there any challenges in the support that I get in my family? Back in the workplace, what are the goals and objectives set for me? Are they really helping me towards achieving it? Because time might be a constraint, or my attention of my personal life might take a priority. How much of support do I really get back in my professional life? How do I really work it out with my manager and my team? So that's called the ecology. So having an ecology check and understanding what's really helping you, what's not, helps you validate whether you are able to work towards it. If not, if you get to see challenges, then you need to come up with some different options or plans that will really help you work towards it. And that is what I mentioned, was inspecting, adapting and learning, being self-aware, and do an ecology check. I hope that helps. Thank you. I move on to the next question. Divya asks, in recent times, cognitive behavioral therapy has been making the rounds as a tool for personal development. How effective is it? Will such courses really help someone? Trainings, I believe, are tools that provides us with multiple frameworks, and that really enables us to develop our skill sets. But it can only happen successfully if we take those learnings and implement it in our day-to-day cycle, right? I haven't been through the cognitive behavioral therapy, but let me talk about neuro-linguistic programming. So when I went through the practitioner course, I'm right now a master practitioner as well. I actually picked up a lot of those that I went through the training, those techniques, and I first applied it on myself. And when I applied it on myself, it helped me really improve in my day-to-day work and my day-to-day abilities to really think through and have more clarity on my goals, objectives, and what are my limiting beliefs. How do I really create empowering beliefs? How do I really come out of my fears and phobias? How do I set powerful goals? And a lot of it actually helped me also in while I was doing my coaching, during my coaching conversations, in my coaching engagements, right? So I must say, not only in coaching, be it Agile as well, whenever I have done any certifications, I really find the true sense of it. If I take some learnings and I'm able to implement it and I'm seeing the success out of it. So if you really ask me, I always look at trainings. When I go to trainings, I look for two things. One is I create networks because I connect with different set of people. I learn a lot from those interactions. The second thing that I take away from those trainings and certifications is what are those key learnings I can take away and implement it so that I can see the benefits out of it. I hope that helps answer your question. Then I move on to the next question. It comes from Bhuvana. Bhuvana asks, "Hi Pragya, amidst our busy work life and a chaotic personal life, what are the trigger points pointing towards a need for some personal introspection?" We don't need trigger points, do we? You actually can come up yourself on what is the best time for you to really inspect and adapt, or where do you go back and introspect or retrospect, whatever you might want to call. Busy, we are always busy with a lot many things, but my only again my suggestion would be is take some time out for yourself, and in that specific time you might sit down with a notepad and a pen or whatever works for you, and or just talk to yourself and write down what is going really well, what is not going well, is there anything else that you can really do. And as I said, there is no specific prescribed time for everybody. It depends on person to person. So find out your own time. That's the only thing that I can, help you with. Next question is from Sonal. If I'm constantly looking for personal growth or personal development, doesn't it mean I'm not happy with who I am? A wonderful way of looking at it, Sonal, I must say. No. Personal development or personal growth, it depends on how do you really look at that aspect, right? From the day we are born, be it we go through our parenting, we have our own friend circle, then we go into college, then we go into office, or we get married to a different family altogether, and we create friends throughout our whole life. And in all those relationships and the situations that we go through, we actually derive our own experience. We create value systems, we create belief systems, and we do a lot of decision making, we create memories. A lot of things happen within us, and each of us have our own map of the world. Now, being happy is a state of mind, and as I mentioned, for you to be in a state of mind, it is important for us to really inspect and adapt, be self-aware, be aware of our ecology, right? So personal growth and development is very much required because your goals change. When you were a kid, when you were in school, you maybe, when I was in school, for me, 10th matriculation was the first and the most important thing. And then when I moved into college, I wanted to be an engineer, but then slowly I moved into masters in computer applications. Then I moved into IT. My passion lied in coaching. Now I have moved into agile coaching. My goal has changed throughout the life. So this means that I need to develop and grow, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm not happy. While I'm growing and developing myself, I'm happy. So that's a state of mind. But for me to be in that state of mind, I need to be aligned towards the goals and keep achieving it as well, right? So, no, you can be happy while you're working towards your personal development and growth. That's how life is. So I think that's about it. Thank you for all the questions, and if you really want to connect back with me, more than happy. My LinkedIn profile will be available, and thank you for the lovely questions, and have a great day.